everybody, my name is Shannon and Ms. G, and I help individuals and organizations strengthen their creativity through process-based art making. Creativity is a powerful and valuable skill. It's responsible for the world around us. Think about what you're wearing, items that you use, structures that you're in. All of this is thanks to creativity. The great news is that creativity is a muscle that we all already have. So I hope that you join me today to stretch and strengthen your creativity through art, because everyone is creative and anyone can make art. Today we're going to explore color and found sculpture. Before we begin, let's consider our process. Today we're going to gather our materials while I sing a song that I wrote about friendship. We're going to observe some color mixing. We'll look at some artist examples, then we'll make our own art. After we're finished with our art making process, we're going to reflect upon it, then we'll close out class. I have a blog. You can find it at findcreativeflow.com/blog. At this blog, I have links and additional ideas, as well as all of these art making steps written out. So please visit my blog if you'd like more information about this episode. Before we begin our art making process, we must gather our materials. Today, we are going to explore two different types of art making. 3D art making, form, things that pop out and stand out like us, we are 3D. As well as 2D art making. 2D is something flat, like a drawing. We're going to explore both today. First, we need to find found objects. Found objects are things in your environment that are okay to use to build a sculpture for art making. Maybe this sculpture is going to be permanent, something that you will keep forever and ever. Or maybe this sculpture will be disassembled, broken apart at the end of this art making process. You decide. Today, I am gathering materials that will be disassembled, broken apart after I'm done making my sculpture. You might need to find an adhesive, something to connect the objects together. Today, I am going to try my best to not use any adhesive, to just see what I can build and create simply with the objects. Remember that the objects should be able to be used for art making. For our second step, in our art making process today, we're going to need something to write on. Maybe it's paper, cardboard, canvas, recycled paper, anything that you can write on that no one else is using. We're also going to need some things to write with, like pens, pencils, color pencils, markers, anything that we can use for a mixed media approach, mixing our materials together. Today, I have collected items from the rainbow. I have found some items in my house that I can use that are safe. I've tried to search my apartment, my home, for different colors. I started going through the rainbow, looking around my house for first items that are red, then items that are orange, then items that are yellow, green. They can be any shape or size, as long as it's okay to use them for art making. Oops, I forgot my red pom-pom. I have blue, blue streamers. Oh, I forgot my green dollar. And then any other materials that you think might be interesting. Now, these are all of the items that I have collected, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to use all of these items. But if I have some things to work with, then I can make decisions in my building process. And then also gather paper and writing utensils. While you're gathering your materials, I'm going to sing you a song that I wrote called Friendship. When I think about friendship, I think about color mixing. When my friends come together, we create something new, just like color mixing. Go ahead and get your materials. Friendship, it's 1 + 1 is 2, it's yellow. Meets blue with me and you, it's red and yellow. We make a rainbow. We can go anywhere together, I imagine with you. We can solve any problem, no matter, I'll be with you too. 'Cause friendship, it's 1 + 1 is 2, it's yellow. Meets blue with me and you, it's red and yellow. We make a rainbow. We can build anything together, I'll create with you. We can laugh with each other, I'll have fun with you too. 'Cause friendship, it's 1 + 1 is 2, it's yellow. Meets blue with me and you, it's red and yellow. We make a rainbow. Mix colors together, create something new. Red and yellow make orange, yellow and blue make green. Purple is red and blue, a rainbow for me and you. We can share our dreams together, I believe in you. We can share our fears, no matter, I trust you too. 'Cause friendship, it's 1 + 1 is 2, it's yellow. Meets blue with me and you, it's red and yellow. We make a rainbow. We make a rainbow. We make a rainbow. Today we are exploring, how does color work? How can we use found sculpture and color to create art? But what is found sculpture? Found sculpture are objects, things, that we find that we can use to create a sculpture, a 3-dimensional piece of art. We can see found sculptures in museums and parks, and we can even create one in our home. How does color work? We have 3 primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. And you can see that the blue and the yellow already are starting to mix. The blue traveled over there when I was pouring the paint earlier. If we mix red and yellow together, they create something new. Red and yellow are friends, and when they come together, they create orange. Orange is a secondary color. It comes from the primary color. Primary means 1. Secondary means second or 2. The second color that we make from the primary color. I've combined red and yellow together, and I have created orange. Yellow and blue are primary colors. They are the first colors, and when we combine blue and yellow together, they create the secondary color of green. Color mixing is like friendship. When we come together with our friends, we create something new. Yellow and blue, the primary colors, create green, a secondary color. When the primary colors of red and blue come together, they create purple. Purple is a secondary color. Red and blue make purple. Today, we are going to think about color and how color works while we create our found object sculptures. But before we begin, let's explore the steps and suggestions for making and look at some artist examples. First, we collected objects that we can use for art making. We thought about color, maybe we think about shape and size, weight, how they might fit together. Next, we are going to assemble, we're going to put together the objects into a sculpture. We can think about levels, we can think about space, we can think about if we can create meaning. After that, we are going to turn our sculpture into a drawing or a painting or a mixed media piece. We are going to show our sculpture in 2D form, in flat form. Let's look at some artists who are exploring color and found object sculpture through 3D and 2D art pieces. We can see Shanique Smith is exploring color and found object through her piece Black, Blue, Green, Yellow, Orange, Red, Pink. We can notice that she has found fabric, clothing to explore these colors. Let's look closer at Shanique Smith's piece entitled Black. Notice how she combined all of the different clothing and materials to create her art piece. Julie Pepito's piece, Bling Bling and Bling, shows us how we can collect objects in our environment and use the different shapes, sizes, and colors to create a new piece of art. We can even hang our found sculpture if we would like. Here is Shanique Smith's piece, Bright Matter. We can see how she has found clothing and incorporated color, used color in her mixed media piece. Here is Julie Pepito's piece called Olivia. Notice how Julie collected her materials, looked at color and shape and size, and combined the pieces to create something that has new meaning. We can also consider Bridget Riley's piece, Nadaraya, where she used shape and color to explore how color works together. Before we begin our art making process, it's essential to remember that art is ish. This means that it's human and unique. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to look like a machine made it. And that's what makes art exciting. While we are in our process today, it's also essential that we are kind to ourselves and to our art. There is no such thing as the right way or the wrong way to make art. And there's no such thing as good or bad art. See what happens in your process. See what kind of ish art you can create.
1, 2, 3,
I'm going to play with the materials that I collected for my found objects. I'm going to see about different levels, different shapes, sizes, see how the colors work together. I don't know what's going to happen. This is ish. Let's see what we can create. Everybody has a different process. I'm going to lay out my materials so that I can see what I have. And then I'm just going to start building. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to explore and notice how colors work together. Maybe I'll put the primary colors together. Maybe I will put secondary colors together. This is an exploration. See how you can move your found objects to create something new. Try different angles. Try different pieces. If something doesn't work, move to a new place. Look at your sculpture from different angles, from the top, from the side. From underneath, see how the different materials might work together. You don't have to like all of your art. This process alone is strengthening your creativity. Creativity is a muscle. See what you can do to use it. Trade things out, move things around. Think about different levels. Think about how you can use different materials. How can the colors work together? Things might move and shift. How are you using balance? If something falls or changes, maybe you want to leave it where it falls and changes to. Remember that you don't have to use all of your materials. You can. You can change your mind. You can change the positioning. Experiment how the colors are working together. Try out different places, different ideas. Something changes, maybe you want to keep it that way, or maybe you want to change it back. This is ish, we remember. What happens when you move one object? Look at your sculpture from above, from the side, from below, from all different angles. See what you have created. We know that art is never finished. It's alive, it's changing, it's moving. Maybe it's temporary, maybe it's not permanent. Wherever you are in your process is great for right now. If you decide that you want to pause this video and continue with your found sculpture, you can, or you can continue on to our next step. You decide. Our next step is to reinterpret our 3D sculpture into 2D. In other words, we're going to create our sculpture that we just made in a different way. It's not going to look the same as a 3D form. Maybe it will be abstract. It'll be shapes. Or maybe it'll be more realistic. Maybe it will look more like the form itself in a real way. We can use drawing, mixed media, painting, collage. It's ours to decide. How will you recreate? How will you reinterpret your form sculpture? Today, I'm going to use paint because that's what I have available from my earlier demonstration. You could draw, use mixed media, color, marker, pen, pencil. It's yours to decide how you're going to reinterpret your 3D form. Remember that this can be abstract. It does not have to look realistic. It doesn't have to look real, like the real items in front of you. You decide how you want to interpret this. This is ish. I think I'm going to see about making mine a little bit abstract. Though I don't know, I'm just going with the flow and seeing where this art wants to go, seeing where this art wants to take me. This is ish. We know that art is never finished. We know that it's not going to look exactly like what the form in front of us looks like, and that's okay. It's related. It's not the same. It's time, she told me, never to come back alone, never to come back alone. Time will heal your soul, it's time alone. We will process this for one more song, and then we'll look at our experience wherever it is today in this moment and see where we are in our process. So tell me what's wrong with feeling I'm a flower. If you feel stuck, go to a different place on your page. Try something new. Maybe if you were trying to make it abstract and it isn't working for you or it doesn't feel right, try something realistic or abstract. Change your approach. We know it's not going to look exact either way. That's what makes it exciting and interesting. How can this become something entirely new? Something different even? How can you take inspiration from one piece of art and move it into something else? How can you reinterpret it? How can you use color? Notice your process. Notice how it's not the same, but it's related. It's similar. How is it similar? How do you interpret it this time? We know that art isn't finished. If you don't feel finished after this, that's okay. You can continue on. You could pick this up a different day. You could try a different variation another time. There is no right or wrong. It's great to look at art in process, to see how it's developing. Where is it going? What's happening to it? Wherever you are is where you are right now. Let's pause in the process and reflect on our art. We began today exploring the question, how does color work? How can we use found sculpture and color to create art? Let's look at our found sculptures and notice how the colors come together. Maybe you use cool colors in certain areas. Maybe you use warmer colors in certain areas. Maybe you use all of the colors of the rainbow. Maybe you use just some of the colors of the rainbow. What colors do you notice in your sculpture? How do they work together? Notice the different shapes that you combined together. Notice the different levels. Does the sculpture remind you of anything in the real world or in your environment? What would you title this sculpture? What name would you give this sculpture? I think that I would name my sculpture Mixed Bag, because it's like a mixed bag of items that someone put into a bag and then gave to me and said, here, make something. That's kind of what happened, right? Now, let's look at our 2D art. Let's look at our interpretation of our found sculpture. How does your interpretation look similar to your found art sculpture? How does it look different? Did you approach it in the same way? Did you create differently? Did you start with the same item, the same object on both? How has this changed? How have you reinterpreted it? Maybe this piece feels like it needs something more. Maybe you might decide, I could decide, oh, I'm going to add some mixed media to this. I'm going to see about crayon or color pencil and see what happens if I alter it a little bit. Maybe it doesn't have to be realistic, and maybe my different media that I choose will change the way that we see this piece. Maybe this piece will become something completely new. Something maybe more abstract, maybe something a little bit more geometric, or reinterpreted in a different way. You decide how you want this piece to flow, to process. Art is alive, it's moving, it's changing, it's interacting with the world around it. So now we must decide, how will we let our art live and breathe in the world? I can tell you that I am going to disassemble my found sculpture and return it to all of its places that I collected it from. Though you might decide that your found sculpture wants to hang. Maybe it wants to hang in a place of your house. Maybe it wants to hang on the wall or from a ceiling. Maybe it wants to be displayed in some way. Maybe you want to give it to somebody, or maybe you want to display it somehow in public. You decide. 2D art, I'm going to mail my art to my friend who I know really enjoys 2D art and would like to do this activity too. Maybe they will mail their 2D art back to me. Who knows? Art is valuable unto itself. It's a way for us to express our experiences, to share our voice, and to do something that helps us feel stress relief and increases our productivity. But art is also very valuable because it offers us a gym, a way to train certain skills that we can then transfer into our everyday life. Today I looked at and used everyday objects in different and new ways. I can use this practice, these skills, when I use resources and objects that I have in my environment to create new solutions for old problems. I also reinterpreted, I created in a different way today. I translated, I iterated my 3D form, my found object sculpture, into my 2D art piece, my painted interpretation of my sculpture. In the outside world, I can turn one idea into many different ideas and interpretations. I can see and look in different ways with this process. Now that we've reflected on our art making, let's check in with our bodies and see how we feel in our process. So plant your feet on the ground, roll your shoulders down your back, roll long through your spine. You can close your eyes or keep them open. We're going to take 3 inhales and 3 exhales. Breathe in 1. Exhale 2. Inhale 1. Exhale 2. Last one, inhale. Exhale. How does your body feel right now? How does your mind feel? I had such a great time exploring color and found object sculpture with you today. I love seeing your work. You are invited to share it with me through email or through social media. As we close out class, I'm going to sing our theme song. Thank you for being here. I hope to see you at our next art making episode. If you want some stress relief, make some art. If you want to be productive, make some art. If you want to innovate, imagine and create. If you want to be yourself and see yourself and free yourself, make some art. Bye. See you soon.